I'm just going to talk about why we created this product, how we got to the realization that we needed it, the research that we've done into learning about it, learning about the subject. And I'm going to share my screen and just show you a bit about what it looks like, and then I'll explain what the future includes. So that's quite a lot to cover in a short space of time, but let me start with the background. I'm very inspired by sales and marketing technology and sales and marketing processes. I was previously co-founder and CEO of a company called Candidate ID, which was heavily inspired by marketing automation products such as Marketo and Pardot, which are pretty mainstream in a sophisticated sales and marketing team. When we realized that technology like that didn't exist in talent acquisition, we set out on a journey to build it. And over a 6-year period, we had lots of ups and downs, lots of blood, sweat, and tears, but it went very well overall, and we sold that company to iCIMS. I subsequently learned a lot about the area of sales enablement when I was in iCIMS, which was really great. And similarly to the realization that we need marketing automation in talent acquisition, I had a real strong feeling that we might need something similar to sales enablement in talent acquisition. So sales enablement is all about giving the salespeople all of the content and assets and props and tools and calculators and learning and things that they need to get their deal done, from first stage outreach right through to closing the deal and onboarding the customer. And in my mind, I felt like we probably enable our recruiters with an applicant tracking system and a LinkedIn account and a phone and tell them to get on with filling the jobs. And, you know, I'm being slightly facetious, but I did 200 hours of focus groups last year over a 6-month period with talent acquisition people. And what I found was around 80% of companies do what I said. They don't really do anything to properly enable their recruiters with the right content and the right knowledge and the right assets and props and tools and things. Around 20% of organizations, which may well be the types of organizations who would sign in to a session like this and watch these great demos and presentations, they're the ones who had done something about it. But typically, it was maybe they created a SharePoint site with some boilerplate kind of assets, maybe the approved logo, the tone of voice written down somewhere, an EVP written somewhere, that type of thing. And they've maybe done something around a learning system for typically real like performance skills like stakeholder management, achieving influence, that kind of thing, rather than here's how to raise a rec, here's how to post a job, here's how to use your CRM, here's how to do all the tactical sort of everyday type things. So a couple of the sort of anecdotes that I got from these sessions. Number one was the talent acquisition manager who joined one of my workshops and told me that that day, the day of that workshop, she'd identified 3 recruiters in her team in different countries who had all written variations on the same job advert. Now, one of them was quite good, one of them was okay, and one of them was not very good. So, I said, what would have been a better process for that? And of course, she agreed that it would have been a better process for the person who was the best writer to have put that together and for everybody else to be able to go and access that asset to use for themselves. Another one that I learned, another anecdote that I thought was pretty regular, is the concept of toggle tax. A recruiter has 20 plus tabs open all the time. They've got Chrome extensions, they've got bookmark tabs, they've got apps and all sorts of different things. And they're spending a lot of time every day toggling from one place to another. They are really quite distressed with the volume of different places they've got to go to get their tasks accomplished, to find all the things that they need, even if they exist. And then the third one, which I liked, was really just the fact that so many things don't get used, and like recruiters do a lot of workarounds of their own. So they might create their own folders, like on a desktop somewhere or something like that. And what they will typically do is kind of reinvent the wheel. So Chris may already have written a job advert. I don't know where to find it because he's got it stored somewhere. I'm going to go and create my own. And there's just a lot of duplicate effort put into that as well. So I thought this was very much going to be a marketing focused solution, but as we went through the focus groups, we learned there was 4 kind of key areas where we could support. One was recruitment marketing. The second is recruitment operations. The third is recruiter learning. And the fourth is tools. Marketing, operations, learning, tools. M-O-L-T. MOLT. So I call it MOLT. That's the 4 sort of areas. Have you got any questions, Chris or Gerry, before I go and share my screen and just show you what our response to this looks like?
I don't have any questions. I always love to talk to you. I do think it's funny. Years and years and years ago, our first conversation we ever had together was about platform fatigue, and I love and it just resonates. And I love the fact that this is one of those things that you're looking to tackle. But I like the toggle tax term a little better than platform fatigue.
Yeah, toggle tax. It's a killer. So
yeah, I love this. It's great.
So, Gerry, we've taken inspiration from you as well. In fact, we've taken inspiration from many, many people, and we continue to learn all the time. We are literally building this in public. We're posting on LinkedIn and other social networks all the time. What would you want from this solution? How do you think this should be delivered? What's your approach to doing this? I set up a YouTube channel called Recruiter Enablement, and I've interviewed 190 plus talent acquisition people to share knowledge of this subject. And it's been a wonderful journey, and I've really enjoyed learning a lot about it. So this is poetry. When the recruiter logs in, they are at this desktop. And on the desktop, there are tiles. Each tile represents a solution, and they're in 4 solutions groups, as I've mentioned: marketing, operations, learning, and tools. As you can see, some of these tiles have our branding on them. They're native solutions we've developed ourselves. You could add third-party solutions in here to make it really easy for your recruiters not to be going on to Teams or Slack all the time saying, what's the URL for that video solution I should be using? What's the name of that assessment thing I should be using? They're all on here. There's no single sign-on or anything like that at this point, but the pilot programs we're doing with international organizations are giving us loads of great insights into what they're going to require for, I'm talking about teams of 100 to 1,000 talent acquisition people, and their needs are, of course, very complex. So we're learning, we're listening, and we're enhancing this product at light speed. But right now, I put on the third-party tiles. I want to go into Greenhouse, click on the link. It just opens up my Greenhouse. I want to use this marketplace. It's called Gigged. Click on the link. It just opens it up. Now, there's 28 native solutions in here. Let me talk you through a journey that I might do as a recruiter. So I need to learn about a job because I'm going to be working on something I've never worked on before. So I go into this research solution. I click Create Research, and this is a data job. It's a data analyst job, and it's in New York City. So I click the Understanding Jobs option, and there's a number of templated questions in here, such as, what's the main responsibilities? What are the job titles mean the same? What academic institutions train people to do this job? Who employs people like this in our area? What's the typical salary for and benefits for people working in this job, in this area? I've clicked on Perform Research, and it's given me some suggested alternative job titles. Okay, once I've gone through those research questions, I know a bit more about the job. And so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go and find some candidates. I go into my Boolean builder, always go into find because you don't want to recreate the wheel. And if there's nothing in there, then I'll go into create. This is a design job. It's a product designer job. It's based in San Francisco. I want similar job titles. So I click on the Inspire Me button, and it's going to give me synonymous jobs. I want locations close by San Francisco. Click on Inspire Me. It's going to give me locations close by. Build my Boolean string. Click Search Google. Here's a whole bunch of people with the right type of job titles in the right kind of area. There's other things I can do to make that a more sophisticated search. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to reach out to all of these individuals. So I'm going to go into my social media outreach solution. I click find to find relevant things. And if there's nothing in there, I'll go to create. This is a IT job. It is a network engineer, and it's based in London. I click inspire me. This is now going to create me some suggested language for my outreach messaging. And what it's going to produce here is going to be semi-vanilla because this is in my demo workspace, okay? However, when a customer sets up their workspace, they go into the configuration area, and in here, they choose what do I want as my intros and outros for things like job adverts, job descriptions, social media posts, and that type of thing. That's going to ensure consistency. It's going to ensure that the main messages that employer brand people want to get across are all coming through. I'm also going to go into my global rules, and I'm going to input the URL for the careers site. Poetry is going to review information in the careers site, and that's going to help with the creation of the content assets in here. We've got your company's recruitment-related hashtags in here. Your EVP goes in here, and you fill in your generative AI rules. You also go into the company information section and fill in this questionnaire about your company. What does it do? Why was it started? What's its core values and principles? And once you've done that, when you're then producing things like email copy or landing page copy or social media outreach, social media posts, candidate interviews, it's all going to be pretty well on brand, consistent, and your recruiters are going to have to do minimal editing before it's ready to use. If I don't want to go into all of these solutions because of that job that I'm working on is brand new and I know that nobody's created anything for that, I can click playbooks, always go into find, and if there's nothing in there, go into create. This playbook is for a product job. It's a product marketing manager. It's based in, I'll choose Glasgow, where I am in Scotland. I click select all because I want all of these assets, build my playbook, and there's my Boolean string. Here's my brand advert. It's now building out my candidate interview template. It'll then build out a conversation guide. Conversations guides like a crib sheet or an elevator pitch or that type of thing. It'll take about 2.5 to 3 minutes to develop these 20 or so assets. So while it's doing that, I'm going to show you a couple of other things. So within Poetry, you've also got the ability to generate business cases. So if you're a manager or a leader in the team, you can go in here to find business cases that other people have prepared. Or alternatively, you can go and create one. So this is related to healthcare recruitment, and I want additional budget. Specifically, it's for nursing. So I am pitching to the registered nurse head of department, and I want increased volume of applicants. I click build business case, and this is now going to generate for me about 6 or 7 different suggestions for things that that persona, that type of person, would be interested in and would likely to be saying, yes, I'm happy to give you that additional budget, whatever it might be. Another very useful solution in here is our battle cards. We're going to be doing a lot to really supercharge this, but what we have in here for now is if I'm going to be interviewing a candidate who works for, say, Amazon, I can come in here and I can see what have my colleagues said about Amazon's strengths and weaknesses and leadership and things like that. So it's pretty useful for understanding the intellectual capital within the team. Just one more solution I want to show you, and that's our team learning solution. So if you've got new people who are joining the organization, then this is the first place you send them. And so they can easily go and find out about, here's how we as a team do advertising. Here's how we do assessment. Here's how we do CRM. Here's how we do career sites. And for the pilot programs that we're doing with the enterprise organizations we're working with, one of the things that we've learned is that they really want to be able to understand who's actually reviewing all of this. And so we'll ask people a simple question about how they do assessment, or how to do employee referral, or how to do interviewing, or whatever, just so they can get a little green tick to say they have reviewed that and they understand it. Some people might think that's bossware, so you'll be able to switch that off. You won't have to have that on the in the system. There's configuration opportunities in terms of the actual look and feel of the desktop. You can shuffle your solutions around. You can switch them off. You can easily add in other things. You can click on the heart button and you can have your favorites up at the top. And you can also see quite easily what's going on in the workspace. So I can see at a glance which of the solutions are being used the most by the thickness of the border and based on the number in the corner, not just for our native solutions, but how many times are the third-party solutions being used as well. So I can filter that according to individuals. I've got a one-to-one with, say, Stephen. I can select Stephen, analyze the desktop, and I can see that Stephen is doing lots of great work in here. There's a lot more in the analytics that we can offer. Let's just take a look at this playbook. AI images is not for everybody. This is a product marketing manager based in Glasgow. There's a few things I've done to customize this with like the logo in the right place. You can have hashtags and career sites and things like that. I've asked for this to be photorealistic. I'm not sure what she's doing up top left.
I love the flying TA team member.
She's a flying product marketing manager, actually.
Product marketing manager.
Let's just take a look at one piece of information that this playbook's generated, the persona. So current salary for a product marketing manager in Glasgow, between 45 and 65,000, and the sources are Glassdoor, PayScale, and LinkedIn. That sounds about right to me. Have they got any management experience, work experience, etc.? Who do they work for? They work for organizations like maybe Skyscanner, FanDuel, Agreco, or M Squared Lasers. So I hope I haven't gone too heavily over my time. I'll stop sharing screen. And yeah, I hope that's been interesting. So love to find out if you've got any comments, or if anybody wants to reach out. It's easy to find me. I'm on LinkedIn, and the company URL is poetryhr.com.
Right, Gerry, do you got anything you want to weigh in? I have an observation, but I know we got a minute left.
Yeah, I mean, I love the thought that you've put into this, the degree to which you've really spent gathering information that gets you there.
Yeah, and Adam, I would add to that. I mean, as you were clicking on the playbook, my question to you is who's in here predominantly, like, ideally using the platform? Because it's not just the recruiter.
No, there's several there's several user groups. I mean, we split them simply as admins and users at this point, but we're creating more layers of personas and authorization in here right now based on feedback from international companies. But for now, the users are probably recruitment marketers, recruitment operations people, and the people that set up and they're the guardians of the workspace and the templates. And then users are recruiters and talent sourcers, typically.
Yeah, there's some space in there for hiring managers too, I think.
This is a very big theme for the second half of the year, is hiring manager enablement. Absolutely. And I think that we are probably moving to a world where talent acquisition is going to have more and more responsibility for creating self-service experiences and enabling hiring managers to do a great job. So I think there's going to be more exciting jobs in TA for people in operations type things and enablement. Oh, yeah. Hiring manager enablement is definitely a big theme for the second half of the year for us.
I love it. Well, Adam, man, it's good to see your face. Love that the beard is coming back. And we're just grateful for the time you gave everybody today. Thanks for dialing in.
No, I really appreciate it. The thanks is all mine.
No, good stuff. Good luck with this.